All right, straighten your legs. Fingertips by your hips. Feet together. If they don't go together, you can take them hip distance apart. And you can also, if they don't go together, you can take a block between them so that they have contact. It's not necessary, but it can be nice to do that. Press the thigh bones down. Be careful not to just jam your knees down. So fingertips by your hips, Carla. There you go. That's it. See how just doing that got you more lift there. So the tops of the thighs press down. And then the work of the legs is the same. So elongate from the tops of the thighs to the knee through the heel, but also from the tops of the thighs back towards the abdomen. So the whole inner leg is lengthening in both directions. The flesh of the inner thighs descending, drawing from your outer knees to outer hips. Compact your hips together. As you compact your hips together, draw the front bottom ribs towards the back body, lengthen from your hips to your armpits. You can roll the upper arms out, but don't roll the lower arms out. So I know we haven't gotten there today, but in downward facing dog, we talk about how the forearm will rotate in and the upper arm rotates out. So it's actually the same here. So see if you can roll the upper arm out without rolling the forearm out. And then separate your legs. Make sure your heels are lined up. If you need to adjust the height, if this is too high for you and you prefer the floor, or if you had a 2 or 3 blankets and want 1 blanket now, that's fine. So sometimes I have to play with this. This is a little too high for me, so I'm going to go down. But you have to do what works for you. So hands still by your hips, fingertips, or depending on how high you are, it'll be fingertips or flat hands. And then the work of the legs is the same. So press the thighs down. And notice if one leg is working harder than the other. And lengthen from the inner thigh, out through the inner knee, out through the inner heel. But also the tops of the thighs drawing back towards the body. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. And try not to scoop in the lower back. If your lower back is rounding out, then you need to work really hard and bring it in, or that is where the lift comes in. When you take a lift, then it doesn't round out so much. That's the benefit of the lift. It allows the front of the sit bones to drop down a little bit and the tips of the pelvic bones to move forward a little bit. Lift up through the side ribs, of course, but work those legs. Toes up and knees up. And again, don't just press the knees down, but press the thigh bones down. And then take your hands on the inside of your knees, pull straight up, and let your feet come together. You might need to change your height now. So while Upavita Konasana, sometimes the floor is more comfortable for me. For this one, often I need a higher lift. And take a strap. If you can reach your strap, take a strap. And at home, that can be a strap or a scarf, something else. And place it beneath your feet. Soft hands and reach down. So you're on, yeah. If you're on the floor, chances are you don't need a strap, because if you're on the floor, then you just interlace your fingers together and you take them underneath your feet, right? But if you have a lift, all of a sudden, can't quite get there without leaning forward. So that's what the strap is lengthening the arms. But now caveat, if you have your hands under, there's a tendency to pull the feet up. I want you to use the feet to push the hands down into the floor, okay? So you're elongating the arms by using the feet. It's actually quite delicious for the shoulders when you do that, right? You get that is not just the hips anymore, but your shoulders are fully involved now. But otherwise, take hold of the strap and elongate your arms. And again, you're not using the strap to pull up, but you're extending downward with the arms. Extending downward. Press the heels together. Lengthen the inner thighs. So bring the inner thigh out through the inner knee. And from the upper inner thighs back towards the lower abdomen. Try not to lean forward, Carla. Shoulders over your hips. Lift. There you go. And it was fascinating for me. I was going to say the first time I got that instruction, but I don't think it was the first time I understood the instruction, which is not always the same as the first time I heard an instruction, right? But the first time I understood that instruction about taking the tops of the thighs back towards the abdomen, I really felt the knees move away from each other, that it wasn't just pushing out through the knees, which I did feel, but that when we draw back in, that really begins to open up and allows the knees to move away from each other. And of course, drawing the outer knee to the outer hip. Also, when you draw the outer hip bones towards each other, the knees begin to move away from each other. And remember, the goal isn't just for the knees to go down, it's for them to move away from each other. Of course, when they move away from each other, there is a tendency for them to go down. But we're too focused on down, which can, I don't know, if we do that too much, if we go down without getting the length, then you can harm the muscles. So you want to elongate, and that allows them to go down. Keep the front bottom ribs back bottom ribs in. And lengthen through the side ribs. And for those whose hands are underneath the feet, if you're on the floor, don't forget pushing your feet into your hands, pushing the hands down as you lengthen the side ribs up. And then everyone, even if you're on the floor, everyone take a strap, and you're going to hold this. You're going to take the strap underneath your foot, and then hold the strap with your left hand above your foot. So in one hand, take your left hand, hold above the strap, just like, see this? Yep, just take the sides of the straps together, and just hold this with your left hand, and then take your right hand behind you. Lift up this. We're doing a twist. Try not to lean back or forward. Try not to lean back. Keep your spine perpendicular to the floor. Inhale, lift up. And then you're going to bend your elbows out to the sides as you rotate to the right. Don't just use the head. So keep your chin in line with your sternum. You could even just keep looking forward if you want to. You actually turn more. When you turn the head less, your torso turns more. So wrap the ribs around. Lift first. So inhale, lift up to the side ribs. Your exhalation, turn. Wrap those ribs around. Keep elongating in the inner thighs. Keep compacting the hips together. Maintain that lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Hold both sides. Lengthen the inner groins. Move the knees away from each other. And then other side. Take hold of with your right hand now. Left hand goes behind you. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, turning. Thumb down is going to be easier, Sean. Just turn your hand. That's it. So palm facing outward. There you go. Because that opens the armpit chest just a little bit more. And then you can bend that elbow to the side and it broadens across the chest. That's it. Again, don't let your head go faster than your torso. The chin in line with your sternum. Each inhalation, lift and lengthen. Each exhalation, turn. Wrap those ribs around. Inhale, lift. Don't collapse. Get the lift first. Exhale, turn. Soften your face. Maintain the lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Hold the sides of the strap, or you can go back to underneath the feet. And then take your hands on the outside of your knees. Push your legs together. Hold behind one knee. There's two strands. Take one in each hand. Draw the flesh towards the buttock. Drag the heel. Straighten the leg. And then the other leg. Draw the flesh towards the buttock. Drag the heel. Straighten the leg. Back to Dandasana. Press the thigh bones down. Lengthen the inner groins. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Breathe. And release. Let's lie back. Take your strap and lie back. Bend your right leg in, start with both legs bent, feet on the floor. And then bend your right leg into your chest. Put the strap around your foot where the heel meets the arch and straighten your right leg. Now keep the thigh bone pressing back. Keep the thigh bone pressing back. No death grips. No death grips here. No death grips at home. Soft hold. But do press the thigh bone back. Straight leg. Lengthen from the inner thigh, through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, and push through the ball of the big toe. Draw from your outer knee to your outer hip. The flesh of the inner thigh moving back. And take your right outer hip away from your shoulder. So the two sides of your torso are equal in length. Now don't keep the whole leg where it is, just that hip moving. Soften your shoulders, relax your shoulders. Don't take all the tension from your hamstring, put it into your shoulders. Now, when you go to straighten the left leg, your foot is going to want to move away from you. Your hip will want to move towards you. So keep the outer right hip moving away. Keep the foot exactly where it is. Drag your left heel on the floor. Straighten your left leg. Turn the left thigh in. Toes up. Left toes up. So the left thigh turns in. Now, straighten on the floor, Leanne. So both thighs turning in. Both thighs pressing back. And if your right leg bends when you straighten your left leg, just keep your left leg bent. So Carla, just keep your left leg bent and keep the right leg straight. Carla, just take your left foot on the floor. Bend it. Just bend, yeah. So you can straighten the right leg, because otherwise the right leg bends. Extend both inner groins, both inner thighs. Draw both outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. That right outer hip still moving away from your shoulder. Now reach up high in the strap with your right hand. Take your left hand out to the side. Turn your right thigh in and take your right leg towards your face and out to the side. Keep it straight and out to the right side. Oh, I should have had you turn around, Joe. Sorry. We'll work out some of those kinks, Joe. I'm sorry about that. Yes. Yes, keep the left hip down. Left hip goes down. So take your abdomen from the right to the left. Move your abdomen from the right side to the left side. Press your left thigh down, left hip down. And then with a straight right leg, inhale, come up. Hold both sides of the strap, one in each hand, because that's the end where, again, you go into the flexibility instead of the strength. So we have to work on the strength side. You don't need to get more flexible. There's so much flexibility there. So it's really about working the strength side for you now. And bend your legs, switch legs. So Ramona, you're going to want to turn around. So, oh no, you'll be okay. Never mind. So, and Joe, you're okay now. Okay, got it. All right, so right leg is bent, foot on the floor. Left leg is straight. Right leg is bent, left leg straight. Press the thigh bone back, left thigh. And take the hip with it. So have the hip and the thigh move at the same time. And that's what really begins to adjust the lower back here. When that thigh and hip can begin to move together, there's an adjustment in the lower back. Lengthen from the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, through the ball of the big toe, but also from the top of the thigh back towards the abdomen. The flesh of the inner thigh moving back, draw from your outer knee to your outer hip. Soft hands, relax your shoulders. Now again, keep the hip away from your shoulder. Keep the foot where it is. Drag your right heel on the floor, straighten your right leg. Turn that thigh in, right thigh in. Now both thighs turning in. Both thighs pressing back. And Carla, you just do what you did on the other side. Right? So if your leg isn't straight, if the top leg's not straight, you don't have to straighten the bottom leg. Not that you don't have to. It's not necessarily beneficial to, because it'll just bend that top leg. Lengthen the inner thighs. Compact the hips together. And remember, when you compact the hips together, to broaden across the top, the tops of the groins, the tops of the thighs. They spread apart even as the hips go together. And then reaching up high with your left hand. High with your left hand, take your right hand out to the side. And now take your foot towards your face and out to the side. Take your foot towards your face and out to the side. And extend through both inner thighs. That foot is out to the side now. Supta Panagustasana 2. And yes, your right hip stays down. So take your abdomen from the left side to the right side. The leg goes to the left, the abdomen goes to the right. Use your abdomen to press that right side down. The right hip stays down. And if it's not staying down, you can take your hand on top of your thigh, on top of the hip, and press that down. And inhale, take your leg back up to center. Take your right leg in the strap, both together. So both legs together now. So both legs together, Carla. Now, don't have your heels closer to your face than your hips. So take your heels further away from your face. Janine, right? Is it Janine? Okay. So feet a little, there you go. Relax your hands, relax your shoulders. So Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, 90 degrees. Iron your abdomen to your spine, iron the lower back to the floor, lengthen through the inner legs. Compact the hips together. As you compact the hips together, move the tops of the thighs away from each other, the tops of the groins away from each other. Compact the hips, spread the thighs, the inner thighs. Abdomen down, lower back down. And then bend your legs into your chest. Put your feet on the floor. Put the strap to the side. Interlock your thumbs together overhead. Just the thumbs, just the thumbs. So interlocking the thumbs overhead, legs are bent, feet on the floor, bend your legs into your chest. Abdomen down. Now we're straightening the legs again. If you need the strap, if you can't straighten your legs and keep them up, you just take the strap again. Don't worry about extending the arms. Take the strap, put them around your feet. Flex the toes first. Draw your abdomen towards the spine, lower back towards the floor, and then straighten your legs to 90 degrees. Extend through the arms, extend through the legs. But the lower back stays down. So lengthen the groins, just as we were doing. Compact the hips. Joe, see if you can get the lower back down. Good, good, good. Abdomen down. Janine, take your heels a little further from your face. Good. Straighten the legs if you're able. And if not, that's okay too. And then bend your legs into your chest for a moment just to catch your breath. We're not done yet. Flex your toes. Iron your abdomen down, lower back down, and straighten your legs to 90 degrees. Point your legs straight up at the ceiling, not closer to your face than your hips. Abdomen down, lower back down. Lengthen the groins, compact the hips as you widen the tops of the thighs, the tops of the groins. Keep those legs nice and straight. Don't turn the thighs out. Now this is 90 degrees. Now take your legs to 60 degrees. So lower your feet a little bit. Now really extend the whole leg. I should have said the leg. So straighten the legs and lower the legs a little bit. That's it. Abdomen down. This takes more abdominal work. Abdomen down, lower back down. But for those that have difficulty straightening the legs, it's easier to straighten the legs. There you go. Then back up to 90. I didn't know we were doing this today either. Abdomen down, lower back down. Back down to 60. I know, straighten those legs. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. Back up to 90. I know, who knew? I didn't. Don't know what to tell you. I don't know where it came from. Back down to 60. This is it, last one. Compact the hips, compact the hips, compact the hips. Abdomen down, back up to 90. Bend your legs. Straighten your legs on the floor. Release and relax. Arms out by your sides. Palms up. Breathe into your shoulders. Breathe into your hips. Now say something kind to your abdomen. The part of you that didn't like that, say something kind to it. Right? We yell at it. Why can't you do this pose? Well, it's not his fault you've been ignoring it for, 10, 20, 30, 40, however many years. So say something kind to it. Bend your legs one more time. We're not going back into it, but I just want you to bend your legs. Scoop the flesh of your buttocks towards your heels, feet on the floor. Scoop the flesh of your buttocks towards your heels. Interlace your fingers, your thumbs together the opposite way you had them. So put the other thumb on top, hardest part of the pose, extend overhead. Now keep the lower back will come up, but keep the lower back descending and the abdomen descending, and drag one heel on the floor, straighten the leg, drag the other heel on the floor, straighten the leg. And yes, there's an arch in the lower back, but keep it descending. Keep the abdomen down. Now press the thighs down, toes together. So feet together, heels together, toes straight up at the ceiling. And if they don't come together, not everyone's feet comes together, judgment-free zone. It doesn't, but toes pointed up towards the ceiling. Little toe moves back towards you. Keep the heels down, Carla. If the heels come up, you're pressing your knees down too much. So press the center heel down, everybody. Then press the thighs down, but don't allow the heels to come up even the teeniest amount. That helps isolate it in the thighs, not the knees. The back of the knees do open, but it's not just a pushing down and a jamming of the knees. Lengthen through the inner thighs, from the top of the thigh, out through the inner knee, out through the heel, but from the top of the thigh, also back towards the abdomen. Descend the flesh of the inner thighs, draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. And then going through the side ribs, lengthening through the side ribs. Open in the armpits, keep working the legs, open the armpits now and extend, armpit to elbow, elbow to wrist, right through those fingertips. Keep the front bottom ribs moving towards the back body. Keep the front bottom ribs moving towards the back body. Lengthen. And release and relax. Take your arms up by your sides. Palms up. Unless that's uncomfortable with palms up, then take palms down. Let your legs go. Breathe into your shoulders. Breathe into your hips. Breathe into your shoulders. Breathe into your hips. And then pick a side, bend your legs, roll to that side, left or right side. Turn your torso towards the ground, push to come up. Come up to standing. Tadasana. Have your strap not nearby. We won't use it right now, but keep it nearby. Feet together. If it's more accessible for you with feet hip distance apart, you can certainly do that. That's fine. Taking your heels underneath the hip sockets. Otherwise, you can go feet together. But here's the deal. What's most important is that you are being mindful about what you're doing. That it's not just standing and your feet wind up wherever they happen to wind up. Know what you're doing. There are benefits of both, but sometimes some are just more accessible. So pick what's accessible, but know you are picking it. And have equal weight on the inner and outer foot. Equal weight on the inner and outer foot of both feet. So equal weight on each of the feet, and then equal weight on the inner feet, and equal weight on the outer feet. But some of us just fall everything into the outer foot. Or push everything. Fall, that's interesting English, fall everything. And some people roll in the weight is all on the inner feet. Can you find an evenness without gripping the toes? Like spread the toes. So you can even lift up your toes and spread them apart. Try and get, if your feet are together, try and get the big toes to touch. If you're hip distance apart, then get them closer together. But the toes themselves, spread that pinky toe. That's what it is. My pinky toes don't want to move. Those pinky toes apart, and then keeping them spread, gently place them back down, and then reestablish the weight on the inner foot and the outer foot, or inner feet and outer feet. Press the thigh bones back. Lengthen the inner thighs from the inner knee to the lower abdomen, lengthen. The flesh of the upper thighs going back. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. And as you compact the hips together, can you take the tops of the thighs and move them away from each other? So the outer hips compact, the top of the thighs widen. Keep the front bottom ribs towards the back body as you lengthen through the side ribs, extend through your arms. Now keep the awareness of the legs. If you can keep that awareness of the legs, if you keep the front bottom ribs moving back, and let's add today, take the front bottom ribs back, take the back bottom ribs forward. So front bottom ribs back bottom ribs forward. Believe it or not, when you get that, your shoulders, the neck shoulder area begins to release. So maintain that, take the arms out to the sides. And some of you will notice, I should have had you do it without doing that first to compare. But for many of us, there's a lot less likelihood that your neck holds up your arms here. But in case your neck is holding up your arms, have your armpits hold up your arms. And drop the shoulders down. And then from your armpits, begin to rotate the upper arms. And then you go a certain length and then you can't turn anymore. Then turn the wrists so your palms face up. Now, some of you will notice that your front ribs just moved forward. Those of you that didn't notice, it's not because they didn't move forward. It's just because you didn't notice it. They moved forward. So draw the front bottom ribs back, take the back bottom ribs in. And then from your armpits, push your arms up. Shoulders move down as the arms go up. Now go back to the feet. Balance evenly on the inner foot and the outer foot. Press the thigh bones back. Lengthen the groins, draw the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together as you spread the tops of the thighs. front ribs back, back ribs in, and extend through those arms. Allow yourself to breathe. Soft face. Turn your hands out the sides. Exhale, come down. Shoulders down. Side ribs lengthening. Are your thighs still pressing back? Breathe. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior pose 2. Fingertips up. Bend your legs, jump or step your feet apart. Take the wide stance so your feet are below your hands as your arms are extended. Now notice, when you spread your legs, did you throw your thighs and hips forward? I'm exaggerating a little bit so maybe you can see. I don't really know how that shows on camera, but press the tops of the thighs back so that your hips are still in line with your heels. The front bottom ribs still drawing back. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Press into the back heel, turn the front thigh, lift the outer knees to the outer hips and compact the hips together. Still keeping that length on the inner groin. So as the hips compact together, can you still spread the tops of the thighs, tops of the groins? Now keep pressing the back heel, reach to the back arm as you bend your front leg. Take the knee over the ankle, thigh parallel to the floor. So take your hands on your hips for a moment. So really compact those hips. Draw the hips closer to each other. But now lengthen the groins and take the tops of the thighs away from each other. So can you bring the outer hips closer with the tops of the thighs further away? At the same time, I know it makes no sense. So we can get that clear. Take the top of the buttocks down, take the front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in. That helps lengthen the side ribs, and then extend the arms, gaze over the front fingertips. Soft face. Pull with the back arm, straighten the front leg, parallel your feet. Press your thighs back. Turn your right foot in, turn your left leg out. The back thigh goes back, turn the front thigh out, lift the outer knees to the outer hips. So start here. Compact those hips together, lengthen the groins, and spread the tops of the groins away from each other. Now keep pressing the back heel. Compact the hips as you go down. Don't wait till the end, as you go down. Now let's take your hands on your hips. Again, front knee over the ankle. Don't let it go past your ankle. So compact the hips together. Squeeze those hips together, but lengthen the groins, especially the top. But even as they drop back into the body, that very top moves away from each other. So compact the hips together, but spread the tops of the thighs and the tops of the groins. The top of the buttocks does go down. Turn your abdomen towards the back leg. That's it. And keep the spreading of those thighs. Front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in, and let the arms float up. Gaze over your front fingertips. Soft face. Pull with your back arm, straighten your front leg, parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Bounce evenly on the inner and outer foot, thighs back, top of the buttocks down, lengthening the groins, compacting the hips together. Soften your shoulders. One more time, fingertips up. Bend your legs, jump or step your feet apart. Take your hands on your hips to start. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Take your front heel in line with your back arch. So on this back leg, the back thigh has to move towards the wall behind you, and that helps you press the back heel. But that inner thigh, so the front thigh goes back. This inner thigh moves towards the outer thigh diagonally towards the ceiling. Okay, so there's a spreading there. And that helps also Pull the tops of the thighs away from each other. But you want to get that inner thigh moving towards the outer thigh. And that also helps you get that back heel, which because Iyengar calls the brain of the pose. So maintain that, turn the front thigh out. Still lift both outer knees to the outer hips. So there's a lot going on. So back thigh back again, right? So there are two backs. Back to the wall behind you and back to the back towards the back foot, right? So back and back. And at the same time, you're compacting the hips together. Maintain that. Bend the front leg. Keep that inner thigh moving to the outer thigh. Keep the inner thigh moving to the outer thigh. So even as those hips compact, there's a spreading. Now, yes, the top of the buttocks goes down. The tailbone even goes straight forward. Don't confuse that with a pelvic tilt. It's a straightforward action which spreads that pelvic area. Compact the hips together. See if you can bend a little bit more, Carla, if it's accessible. Compact hips together, spread the pelvic area. Take the inner back thigh towards the back heel. Now lift the chest, front ribs back ribs in, and extend the arms. Gaze over the front fingertips. And straighten the leg, parallel the feet, hands on hips. Take a breath. How's everybody doing so far? All right. One great. I'm kidding. I take silence as a good sign. Take the back thigh back towards the wall behind you. Inner thigh to the outer thigh. Back thigh back, inner thigh towards the outer thigh. So it's an upward action and a back action, right? And then press into the outer rim of that back heel. But simultaneously, there's a drawing upward on both legs, outer knees to outer hips. Compact those hips together as you're spreading the tops of the groins, as that inner back thigh is moving towards the outer back thigh. And maintain that. So compact the hips, maintain that back thigh. It doesn't want, the back thigh will fall down, but try and stop it. Inner thigh to the outer thigh. Try and stop it from coming down as you bend the front leg. And compact those hips together, top of the buttocks down, tailbone straight forward. That back thigh back towards the wall behind you. Also the back thigh, inner thigh towards the outer thigh. Now take the front bottom ribs back bottom ribs in. Lift the arms, gaze over the front fingertips. Observe your pose. And pull with your back arm, straighten your leg. Parallel your feet. And jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Check in. Balance evenly on the inner and outer foot. Thigh bones back, lengthen the groins, outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. Extend through the arms. Breathe. Now take a couple blocks or one block. If you have two, take one on either side of your mat. Towards the rear. So one on either side of the mat, towards the rear of the mat. And if you have one, take it on the right side, okay? And if you don't have a block, you can use a chair. It's just like a higher block. Or you can always, we'll bend the front leg. We're doing Utthita Prajna Konasana. You can always take your forearm on your thigh. So from Tadasana. Now be standing in front of the blocks, not in line with them, because you don't want to hit the blocks and trip when you separate your legs. But fingertips up, bend your legs, jumper step. Thighs back. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Take your front heel in line with your back arch. Now it's the same work because the legs in this pose So take your hands down for a minute, hands on hips. The legs in this pose are going to be Virabhadrasana 2. So take the back thigh back towards the wall behind you and take the inner thigh towards the outer thigh, pressing into the back heel. Turn the front thigh up. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. So compact the hips together, spread the tops of the groins, just like we were doing. Now extend the arms again. Inhale, keep pressing the back leg. Spread as you come down. Keep that back thigh is resisting. It doesn't want to come down. So here we are, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, exhale, take your right hand down onto the block. Move the block next to your heel. Extend the left arm up. Now, the back leg, inner thigh towards the outer thigh. Press the heel. Rotate the arm. Keep the inner thigh moving towards the outer thigh as you extend the arm overhead. Yes, compact the hips together. Yes, spread the tops of the groins. And yes, extend the whole left side of your body. Carla, arm overhead. That one, there you go. And then reach through your arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet over to the other side, right foot and left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Hands on hips for a moment to get the legs. So take that thigh back, the back thigh back, towards the wall behind you back. Press the back heel. But then from the inner thigh, move to the outer thigh and press into the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Do lift both outer knees to outer hips. Extend the arms. Now back leg. The inner thigh moves to the outer thigh. Even as you take the leg down, can you keep it? Don't lose it and then get it back, but see how much of that you can keep. So here we are in Virabhadrasana 2. Inner thigh towards the outer thigh. Exhale, take your hand down. Sita Parshva Konasana. Extend the arm up. Inner thigh, back leg. Inner thigh towards the outer thigh. Rotate the arm, palm faces down. Inner thigh to the outer thigh as you extend the arm overhead. That's it. Inner thigh, back leg, inner thigh to the outer thigh. Compact the hips together, outer knees to outer hips, both legs. And at the same time, you're still widening the tops of the thighs, the tops of the groins. And then reach through your right arm, the top arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Take a breath. Or allow the breath to breathe you. Take those thighs back, Carla, because you're beginning to lean back and throw it. So take the thighs back, ribs in. Otherwise, you take it in your lower back. One more time, watch the blocks so that you don't trip on them when you step your feet apart. So fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step, and it's fine to step, it's fine. So hands on hips again, left foot in, right leg out. Back thigh towards the wall behind you, and then inner thigh, so turn the there you go, Joe. Inner thigh to the outer thigh, press the back heel. Carla, turn your back toes in slightly. See how they're out right now? I want you to turn it in so that the heel is further away from you than your toes are. I guess your heel and toes are both apart of you, further away from your head, from something. Words are quite interesting sometimes. Back thigh back. Inner thigh to the outer thigh, press the back heel. Turn the front thigh out, compact the hips together. Now remember that inner thigh moving to the outer thigh the whole time. So extend the arms, inner thigh to the outer thigh. Keep it the whole time, the whole time, the whole time. Compact the hips as you do it. Then exhale, hand down. Don't let the knee go past the ankle. And then take your left hand on your hip for a moment and really reestablish the legs. So take the back thigh towards the wall behind you. Take the inner back thigh towards the outer back thigh. Press the back heel. Compact the hips together. So both legs draw the outer knees to the outer hips. The tailbone moves forward, but the tops of the groins still spread away from each other. And getting that back leg engaged, inner thigh to the outer thigh will help. Now head back. To be clear, don't throw the front ribs forward. So front ribs back, back ribs in. Even here, the head goes slightly back. Now extend your arm up and rotate it. Now take the inner back thigh towards the outer back thigh as you extend the arm overhead. Observe your pose. Head back, Ramona. And fingertips are a part of the pose, Joe. Fingers too. Extend. That's it. And then reach for that arm. Pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Take your hands on your hips for a second. Take a breath. I know this pose is a journey. Right foot in, left leg out. Back thigh back. Inner thigh to the outer thigh. Turn the front thigh out. Lift both outer knees to outer hips. Compact the hips. But really now, keep that inner back thigh moving towards the outer back thigh. Extend the arms. Inner back thigh moving towards the outer back thigh. Bend the leg. Inner back thigh towards the outer back thigh. Take the hand down the block. The block does go towards the heel. Take your right hand on your hip. So back thigh, we're reestablishing. Back thigh towards the wall behind you. Inner back thigh towards the outer back thigh. Compact the hips together. Spread the groins. The tailbone does move forward. So front bottom ribs back. Back bottom ribs in. Head is back. Now extend the arm up and rotate it. Now really the whole way through, take that inner back thigh towards the outer back thigh as you extend that arm overhead. Don't lose that back leg action. Extend the arm. Observe the pose. The hand is a part of the pose here. And then reaching through that arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Check in, thighs back. Lengthen the inner thighs, outer knees to outer hips. Front bottom ribs back, back bottom ribs in. Allow the shoulders to release down. Extend through the arms, breathe. Interlace your fingers together, turn your palms out. Push the webbing of your fingers together. Inhale, come up. Keep those front bottom ribs back. Thighs back, front bottom ribs back. Extend the wrist towards the ceiling, no chin tucking. And don't lean the shoulders back. Shoulders directly over the hips. Front bottom ribs go back. Wrists up, shoulders down. Release your arms out to the sides, come down. Interlace your fingers together the opposite way. Turn your palms out. Touch the tips of the thumbs, but seek the pinky finger webbing towards each other. It's not going to touch. But seek it towards each other as you keep the tips of the thumbs just gently touching, not pressing, but touching. Thighs back, ribs back. Don't leave the shoulders behind your hips. Inhale, come up. Keep those front and bottom ribs moving back. Keep the chin parallel to the floor. Wrists up, shoulders down. And then release your arms out to the sides. Go down. All right, come onto your hands and knees. Downward facing dog. If you want to use blocks or the chair, that's totally fine. Otherwise, hands and knees. Shoulders above your wrists, knees slightly behind your hips. Now rotate the forearm in, rotate the wrist in, press through the ball of the first finger and thumb. At the same time, rotate your upper arm out, but don't lose what you just created with the forearm and the hand. So maintain the pressure of the ball of the first finger and thumb as you rotate the upper arms out. Push into the hand to lengthen through the inner arms. Now we have a tendency, and often we even started in this part to just drop those front ribs down. Can you take the front bottom ribs towards the back body here? The abdomen does draw towards the spine. Now turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Reestablish the arms. As soon as we do this, many of us will then fall back to the outer hand, even though we worked so hard before. So rotate the forearm in, press the inner hand, and rotate the upper arm out. Inhale, lengthen the arms. Exhale, come into downward facing dog pose. So thighs back, chest towards your thighs, sit bones towards the ceiling. Turn your thighs in, press your thighs back. Use the work of the legs to lift yourself up. Carla, take your feet further apart. Let your head go. Lengthen through the side ribs. Rotate the forearms in, press through the inner hand. Rotate the upper arms out, but still pressing through the inner hand. Lengthen through the arms, armpits, and side ribs as you press the thighs back. Now, as you press the outer heels down, lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together, but spread the tops of the thighs apart. And then coming out, bend both legs. Or Joe, you'll just come to standing. Bend both legs, have the knees touch the floor precisely the same moment. If you're on a chair, come into Tadasana. All right, we're going to go back up. But I'm noticing not everybody's hands are the same, right? So look at your hands and make them mirror images of each other. Now, it is true, the traditional pose is the middle finger is forward. I don't like that one very much. I usually do the first finger, index finger pointing forward, or the hand turned out slightly where the index finger points towards the corner of the mat. You can choose, but what's more important right now is whatever you're doing on one hand, you do on the other hand. Mirror images. Spread the fingers, but spread them equally. So the distance between the first finger and second finger on one hand should be the same as on the other hand. And Joe, when you go back down, I want you to look at that, okay? The distance between the second two fingers on each hand should be the same. The pinky spreading the same. Okay, now forearm in, upper arm out. Push into the hand, lengthen through the inner arms, turn your toes under, straighten your legs. So now come into it, Joe. And double check your hands the same way everyone else did when they were down. Now press the thighs back. Come into the pose, downward facing dog. Now double check your hands, because for a lot of people, because you moved your legs, your hands moved without you even knowing, or one of them did, the one that doesn't like this position very much. Now press down to the ball of the first finger and thumb. Ensure that your hands are mirror images of each other. And now look at your feet. One is, you shouldn't be able to see your heels. If you can see your heels, move the heels further apart, not the feet further apart, just the heels. But more important is, are your feet the same? Are your feet the same? Press the thighs back, not just the knees, Leanne, the thighs. Extend the outer heels down, lift the outer hips up. Take your abdomen, roll it into your tailbone, press your thighs back even more now. Soften your face. Imagine you're enjoying this. Imagine this is your favorite pose in the world right now. Of course, you should imagine that for every pose you're in. And then bend your legs. Joe, you can come into Tadasana. Let your knees touch the floor precisely the same moment. And then come into child's pose, everybody. Feet together, knees apart. Unless, if child's pose is really uncomfortable for you, then be in Tadasana, that's fine. Tops of the feet down. So tops of the feet down, that's it. Let the head rest. If it's not touching the floor, then take a block under your head. So just take a block under your head. Still lengthening through the side ribs. And then take your hands underneath your shoulders, push to come up. All right, take a chair. So give each other, for those that didn't get a chair beforehand, give each other space as you get chairs. And for those that have a chair, for those that are at home, take your chair so the back of the chair faces the front. Yep, back of the chair facing the front of the room. No, you had it right the first time. Turn it around. Yep. There you go. Yep, so the back of the chair faces the front. So opposite mine. Yep, so to turn opposite mine. And then have a seat in the chair facing the parking lot. And I realize if you guys want to be able to see me and turn around and do it opposite, you can, or just listen to my words, because you've all done it before. So square the hips, knees, heels. Now even here, this work with the legs that we've been doing, the lengthening of the groins, the releasing of the flesh of the inner thighs, the drawing of the outer knees to the outer hips as you compact your hips. And as you compact your hips, what we added is that spreading of the tops of the thighs. All that is here. The more awareness you have in your legs, the more you're going to create space for the torso to turn, to twist. So get the legs, lengthen the groins, descend the groins, compact the hips, and widen the tops of the thighs. Now extend your arms forward, arms up. Watch those ribs. Did you notice your front ribs go forward? Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Lengthen. Inhale. Oh, I realize at the back of the wall, if you need to create more room for yourself at that wall, do so. Turn your hands out to the sides. Exhale, take your arms down, widen a little bit. And then inhale and exhale, take hold of the sides of the chair. Turn, that's it. Okay, elbows up, shoulders down. Now, did you lose everything we just did in the legs? Did your upper thighs come towards each other, move them away from each other, lengthen those groins? Inhale, lifting. Exhale, pull with the left, push with the right, and turn. Not just the head. Keep your chin in line with your sternum. Chin in line with sternum. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Notice how the ego just wants that head to go. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Chin in line with sternum. Can you turn the torso more than the head? And elbows up, shoulders down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Drop those shoulders away from your ears. Broaden across the chest. Broaden across the top of the back. So Carla, you're leaning forward like this. Keep your spine firm. There you go. And now elbows out. And no tight fists. Spread fingers. Now maintain that lift. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, come to center. And turn around on the chair. Square the hips, knees, heels. Lengthen the groins, descend the groins, widen the groins. Compact the hips at the same time. Arms forward, arms up. Keep those ribs in. Lengthen the groins. Inhale, lengthen, keep that length. Exhale, take your arms out to the side, widen. Inhale, exhale, take hold of the sides of the chair. Draw the front bottom ribs back. Inhale, elbows up, shoulders down. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning, chin in line with your sternum. Let the body turn, not just the head. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. The lift is more important than the turn. Try not to lean back. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Take a moment to observe your pose. You're still lengthening those groins. Let the breath breathe you. Inhale, on your exhalation, come to center. All right, one more downward facing dog. This time everybody with support of the chair. Take your hands on the chair. Walk your feet back, downward facing dog. Again, front bottom ribs towards the back body. Press the hands into the chair, forearm rotates in, upper arm rotates out, thigh bones back. Lengthen the groins, outer knees to outer hips. Compact the hips together as you spread the tops of the thighs. Joe, so you can get the heel of the hand onto the chair itself, not the heel of the heel, heel of the hand. Onto the chair, on, that's it, okay? Otherwise you begin to push the chair away and then rotate the forearm in, upper arm out. You're pushing away, so push down. Is it what? Was it Karen? Karen, push down, not out. So the chair is moving away because you're pushing into it. Push down, not forward. Down with your hands. Yep. And it's different in your shoulders. creates a different experience. And then look up, walk your feet forward. Tadasana. Thighs back. Make sure you know where your feet are. Did you choose where your feet are? Did you choose hip distance apart? Did you choose together? Choose. If you didn't choose, choose now. Thighs back. Ribs in. Lift up through your side ribs. Shoulders down, extend through your arms. Find a soft brain now. Our next pose will be Shavasana. So can you begin, even though you're standing, to move your mind into a Shavasana state? In India, sometimes they do teach Shavasana in Tadasana, standing up. I don't know how often, but they have done that. So can you start your Shavasana here and then release and lie back? Just move the chair to the side and lie back on your mat. Start with your legs bent, feet on the floor, and just bend your legs into your chest and give yourself a gentle hug. We're not working. Just a gentle hug, giving you an opportunity to hug yourself and say something kind to yourself. Just hug yourself and say something kind to yourself, something loving. And then on your inhalation, take your feet to the floor. Scoop the flesh of your buttocks towards your heels. Straighten your legs one at a time. Let your legs fall apart and take your arms out to the sides with your palms up in a comfortable place for you today, whatever that comfortable is today. Space in your armpits. Let go. We did a lot of work today. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones, especially the legs. We did a lot of work with the legs. Can you let the legs completely release? The work is done now. And can you let the arms completely release? Let the abdomen, the lower torso, completely release. And let the upper torso completely release. The neck letting go. And now all of your facial features. Can the eyes rest into the cheekbones? Let all the facial features release and relax. Tongue resting on your lower palate. Even the teeth, the gums releasing and relaxing. Draw your inner ears inward. Release the inner ears, draw the inner ears inward, and begin to listen to the breath from the inside of the body. Remember, you don't have to breathe, the breath will breathe you. Can you become a witness for the breath as the breath breathes you? Become a witness for the breath as the breath breathes you. Just the breath, nothing but the breath. Shavasana. begin slowly coming out. Lengthen the inhalation. Deepen the inhalation. And lengthen and deepen the exhalation. Slow, smooth, peaceful inhalation. Slow, smooth, peaceful exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor with your knees together, feet apart. Knees together, feet apart. And take your hands and place them onto your abdomen or onto your chest. Let the healing energy of your hands penetrate your body, pierce through your layers, and heal whatever it is you may need healing with today. Pick a side, right or left. Extend your arm past your ear and roll to that side. So right arm past your right ear, roll to the right. Left arm past your left ear, roll to the left. Yeah, so extend, Karen, extend your arm up and then just rest your lower arm. Extend that up and then rest your head into the arm. There you go. Now more comfortable? And when you feel ready, take your top hand, lay it on the floor in front of your heart, turn the torso towards the floor and push to come up. Come up to sitting, bring your palms together. Dry your eyes back and down to gaze into your heart as you gently turn the corners of your lips up. Taking a moment to observe your practice. What's different? What's changed? And let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Om. Gently let your eyes open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for everybody here. Grateful that you're here. Grateful to meet both of you. Thank you to everybody at home. We're very grateful for you. Thank you for joining us. If anybody has any questions here, if anybody has any questions at home, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, Jonathan.